The moment I opened my eyes in that sterile hospital room, covered in gauze and pain, I thought the worst was over. It wasn't. Hi, I'm Jason, 47 now, but this story begins 12 years ago when the life I'd built, the woman I loved, and the family I cherished all shattered in an instant. Back then, I was married to Susan. We had 2 beautiful kids. Laura was 5, Lucas just 3. Life was simple, happy, even. Morning commutes, bedtime stories, weekend park visits. I was just another regular man living a regular life, until the day everything broke. I don't remember the impact, just the blur of headlights, then blackness. When I woke up 2 days later in a hospital bed, my body felt foreign, heavy, useless. A nurse told me I'd been in a coma. The doctor's eyes said it all before his words did. My lower body was paralyzed. I might never walk again. That moment shattered something inside me. I looked at my legs, my own legs, as if they'd betrayed me. I was 35, a father, a husband, now a broken man in a wheelchair, and Susan. She broke down crying when the doctor delivered the news. For a moment, I thought we'd face this together. I was wrong. In the beginning, she visited often, brought the kids. Those tiny arms hugging me were the only thing keeping me sane. But then gradually, her visits thinned out. Excuses became common. She said the kids didn't want to come anymore, that it was too hard on them. But I knew something was off. And then, she dropped the bomb. I can't spend my life with a handicapped man, she said, sliding divorce papers into my trembling hands. I'm still young and desirable. I deserve a normal life. It felt like someone poured acid on an open wound. I should have seen it coming. She'd grown distant, cold, but I didn't expect her to run this fast or this cruelly. Barely a month after the accident, still confined to that hospital bed, my friends began whispering truths I wasn't ready for. Susan was seen out and about with another man mid-50s, grumpy-looking, but clearly wealthy. Some said she'd been cheating before the accident. Others said she latched onto him afterward for his money. Either way, within 2 months, she was living with him. And me, I was discarded like trash. I was devastated. I'd lost my body, my job, my family, everything. There were no savings left after paying off bills, school fees, and mortgage payments. Only insurance kept me from being buried under medical debt. I was drowning in grief and rage. But some flicker of survival instinct, maybe revenge, maybe desperation, kept me breathing. After discharge, I had no choice but to move back in with my mother. Imagine this, a grown man, once the provider, now crippled, broke, and dependent on his 60-year-old mom who ran a tiny flower shop just to make ends meet. But she never made me feel like a burden. Even in her quiet struggle, she held me up. Still, I needed to see my children. I missed them like a phantom limb, so I wheeled myself to what used to be our home only to find it locked. A neighbor filled me in. Susan had moved in with her lover, taking the kids with her. I begged her to let me see them, just to say hi, but Susan slammed the door on me literally and figuratively. They already call him Daddy, she sneered. They're used to him. Don't confuse them. She threatened me with a restraining order when I insisted, and without $1 to my name, I couldn't afford a lawyer to fight back. I was crushed, a shell, but I wasn't ready to give up. I asked her point blank if she had been unfaithful before the accident. She laughed in my face, told me it was none of my business, told me to never show my ugly face again. That night, I sat in silence, replaying every memory 7 years of marriage reduced to a joke. I cried like a child in my mother's arms. Her warm embrace was the only thing that reminded me I wasn't completely alone. I had no plan, no money, no future, but I had one thing left: the will to fight back. And it started with flowers. When we stepped through the front door, Amy greeted us with the warmth only a kind soul could give. But my children froze. Their expression said it all. They weren't prepared to meet my wife. Their reaction stung more than I expected. Why was Amy such a shock? Susan had moved in with another man within months of our divorce. So why couldn't I rebuild my life? 2. Amy had gone out of her way to prepare for their arrival. She set up the guest room beautifully. We shared a cozy lunch, and she even laid out the plans for our upcoming family vacation. But the kids, they barely reacted. No excitement, no resistance, just silence. Amy and I exchanged confused glances. Something was off. Later, they locked themselves in the room, and that's when my phone rang. It was Susan. Accusations flew out of her mouth like venom. She claimed I tricked the kids into coming, that Amy and I were manipulating them. She demanded to know why I hid my marriage from them as if I was the liar in this equation. I hung up, but she kept calling, each message more toxic than the last. I had enough. It was time to clear the air. I sat my children down. I asked them, gently, what was wrong. After a long pause, the truth tumbled out. They had been told I abandoned them. 12 years of brainwashing, 12 years of Susan poisoning them against me. My chest tightened. I showed them everything: the restraining letter, my attempts to contact them, my rejection after rejection. They wept. My son Lucas admitted he once tried to reach out to me online, but Susan caught him and emotionally blackmailed him into silence. Then came the stories. How Susan's partner, the rich old man, was cold and abusive. How they were mistreated at family events because Susan was never married. How the man refused to claim them as family. My children had grown up under a roof of wealth and neglect. We all cried that night, me, my son, my daughter. We cried for the years we'd lost, the lies we'd believed, the pain we had buried. That vacation in Florida, it became the beginning of something beautiful. Laura and Lucas bonded with Amy and my stepdaughter, Mia, who was turning 8. We laughed. We played. We lived. For the first time in years, I felt whole. They even posted our group photo on social media, captioned, "Happy Family," and, of course, Susan saw it. She exploded, called them, screamed at them, accused them of betrayal. She texted me threats, said I was turning the kids against her. I laughed. Hollow threats from a hollow woman. After our trip, the kids visited my extended family. The joy on everyone's faces, their aunts, uncles, cousins. It was like breathing fresh air after years in a sealed room. Before leaving, they promised to stay in touch no matter what Susan said, and then, just before they left, they whispered something I wasn't ready for. "Dad, after high school, we're moving back with you." Tears welled up in my eyes. I hugged them tightly, afraid to let go. Sure enough, after they returned, they confronted Susan, but she, as always, played the victim. Said I had poisoned their minds, but this time, they didn't buy it. Months passed, and then, the knock I never expected. Susan. She showed up at my office, looking older, worn down but still manipulative. She tried to hold my hand. I recoiled. She begged for forgiveness, said she was desperate after my accident, that the old man she moved in with was just looking for a sugar baby, and she fit the role. She admitted it. He never planned to marry her, just to use her as a live-in caretaker. And she agreed because he promised money and comfort for the kids. I asked her why she didn't work, why she didn't try. Her excuse, I never had a job. I couldn't give them that lifestyle. What she meant was she chose money over love, comfort over commitment, image over integrity. I exploded. You could have talked to me. You could have given me one chance to rise again, but you left me to rot. She tried to reminisce our wedding, our kids' births, our past. But that past, it was dead to me. I told her flat out Amy and Mia are my family now. She said Mia wasn't really my daughter, that I could never have a real family with them. I was disgusted. Then came the final plea. She begged me to take her back, said we could all be one family again. I laughed. She had some nerve. I told her to leave, or I'd call the police. That was the last straw. She stormed off. When I told Amy and my mother what happened, Amy was shaken but calm. My mother, on the other hand, she was livid. I never liked that woman. She said, "She's just after your money now." Turns out, Mom was right. After the court finally ruled in my favor for the accident, I received a massive compensation, everything I deserved, and more. Susan saw dollar signs and came running, but I wasn't that broken man in a wheelchair anymore, and when the kids found out what she had done, they ripped into her. Even her sugar daddy warned her to back off or she'd be out on the street. Now, my children are moving in with me, just for a short while before college, but it's enough. We've agreed to give each other space to grow, reconnect, and rediscover what it means to be a family. As for Susan, she's left with nothing but a cold house, an old man, and the bitter taste of consequences. I hope she enjoys her sugar before it turns sour. This story is a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of holding on to self-worth, even when life tries to break you. Jason's journey from being abandoned at his lowest point by the person he trusted most to slowly rebuilding his life from the ashes teaches us that healing is possible, but it takes time, effort, and belief in oneself. Betrayal by loved ones can leave deep scars, but those wounds don't have to define our future. With determination and support like Jason had from his mother and later Amy, we can rebuild our lives, piece by piece. It also shows that while lies and manipulation may work temporarily, the truth has a way of surfacing. Susan's efforts to erase Jason from their children's lives ultimately failed because love, when genuine, leaves a mark that cannot be permanently buried. Jason's story reminds us that success is not just measured in wealth or physical health, but in emotional integrity and the strength to reclaim dignity. Moreover, it highlights the value of forming new, healthy bonds like his relationship with Amy and Mia, which can bring unexpected healing and joy. Lastly, it shows that sometimes the people who hurt us will come back not out of love, but out of regret or self-interest. When they do, it's okay to close the door. Growth means knowing who belongs in your future and who doesn't. In the end, Jason didn't just regain his children, he reclaimed his identity, his peace, and his power. This story is a call to never give up on yourself, even when others do. Thanks for watching this powerful story of heartbreak, resilience, and redemption. If this video gave you something to think about, whether it reminded you of your own strength, taught you the importance of standing your ground, or simply moved you emotionally, please comment one down below to let us know it made an impact. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more real-life stories that inspire and stir the heart. Like the video if you believe in second chances and the strength to overcome betrayal, and share it with someone who might need to hear this today. We'd also love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Jason's journey? Do you think he handled things the right way? Have you ever experienced something similar? Drop your feelings and reflections in the comments. Your voice matters here. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind, and keep believing in your worth.